your parties. Dropping the hit, got me shararti. Coming to see like a tsunami.
Yes, everyone, welcome to another episode of Haraami United, man. I think we just, you know what, I don't think we were going to plan on doing this, but I think with the weekend events, I think we just needed to. I think the first and foremost, the first thing we wanted to do was thank you, everyone,
Massive
for
thank you.
for subscribing. 10,000 plus subscribers, absolutely amazing. I think when we started out just over a year ago, I don't think we kind of envisaged this. We never did it for subscribers or likes or anything like that. We just thought, you know what, there's a gap in the market, and you know what, people aren't actually listening to many happening on the there's no many happening on there doing it. Do you know what I mean? And we want a voice. So that's how we started, and I think everybody knows.
Well, that's it. Just to sort of piggyback on the back of that, where you said there's not a lot of happening there. Obviously, we had the Asian Football Awards last week, and when you look at the coverage that came on social media, it was the guys who were at the awards. You know, Rudy tweeted, Punjab tweeted, Chief. You know, everyone that was nominated, everyone that was there in some capacity tweeted about it, and that was it. Really, there wasn't other
mainstream outlets and things like that too.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, it's disappointing. And I mean, things like that, I think, I think it's the first ones we kind of were it last year, but this is the first time we really kind of knew about it. I think we want to kind of add on to that as well. You know, we want to, bring that into more for, hopefully let's try and get some of the people from that onto the podcast. Obviously, we've got close ties with the likes of Punjab, who won as well. Fantastic.
Yep, Community Club Award.
You know what? This is what we spoke about a few episodes ago, so it's not a surprise. Like I said, I know you boys again were down there this weekend again.
Bro, we were everywhere.
Yeah. I know you.
We did a full-on tour. We started in Manchester, stopped off in Wolves to see Manny.
And yeah, Manny, obviously, big up Manny, the 48-hour walk.
Congratulations.
You know what? Obviously, you boys went on the Thursday. I went on the Friday, and it was just amazing to see people out there, supporting him, even on the tweets and things of that nature.
When we were walking round, he was stopping traffic. And what I mean by that is people were stopping him. And like, one randomer, I don't know if Manny knew him or not, and he was a Gora, he was a white person, and he put his window down. And he was like, Manny, good luck, thank you so much. And I didn't hear all I heard was my mum's got dementia.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and he was, he was very thankful, very appreciative, and like just full of support for him. And I was like, Manny, you're stopping traffic now. Come on, man. Like, we got, you know what I mean? But he's absolutely smashed it.
Yeah, I mean, people were, whilst I was there, people were horning and, things like that. And that was like about 10:30 in the evening. That was by the time I got to him. But yeah, again, just an inspiration, and fair play to Manny. And I think, from myself, I think, thank you for people who've contributed to that, because I just think it's something we're quite passionate about, giving back and, to the community and charities and things like that. So I think, I know a few people from our community and the Munde community, did give, have been, or, in the past been made aware of Manny because of the podcast that we did with him. So yeah, I think, again, thank you for everyone who has contributed. And I think you still can. He's on our socials. We've retweeted individually as well.
Yeah.
So
what I'd say on that is anyone who hasn't, go back, watch the previous episode. I think it's titled #Walk48 or Manny Singh Walk, something like that. Look, give it a watch. Most of it's me and Akil showing you some food, to be honest. But there's bits with Manny. There's clips of the walk. More importantly, the Just Giving link is in the description for anyone that wants to donate to the cause and help Manny in Help Dementia UK.
100%, man, 100%. So again, well done, everybody. Moving on. Deja vu. There's a game, obviously yesterday. Manchester United 0, Tottenham Hotspurs 3.
Yeah.
Thoughts
I was half out of it because I was knackered. I was watching it on the sofa, and I was just like, why did I drag myself out of bed for this?
Well, don't forget, you moved from your bed to the sofa. You're doing the same thing, just different destinations. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
well, yeah, exactly. I moved
remember.
halfway through the first half, and I was just like, why am I doing this to myself? I could have just stayed in bed, not had my TV on, not had my phone on, and just relaxed.
I think we would have been better off, I think we would have been less stressed and less, involved in the messages that were going off in whether it was on Twitter, whether it was on the WhatsApp groups. And I don't think it was just yesterday. Obviously, this has been happening
It's a
basically
culmination, isn't it?
it's been happening from the beginning of the season, basically. But again, there's a few people, obviously we know, obviously on Twitter and things like that, who are all just now Erik Ten Hag out. And which is fine. I don't think many people can back him in terms of performances and things like that, of what's happening out there. So I don't think many people are out there trying to back his stats and things of that nature. But it's just a deja vu of all these, the man. I mean, since excuse me, since Ferguson, David Moyes lasted 10 months.
Yeah,
He struggled to fill, yeah, struggled to fill Ferguson's shoes with the team in transition. Bearing in mind, he did take over, a league winning team. Yep. So then that was,
12 or 15 points or something.
by the 12 points, I think it was.
Van Persie at Villa was the title-winning goal. I remember that.
Yeah, at Old Trafford, yeah, with the Rooney pass. Then Louis van Gaal comes in 2014 to 2016, bought some defensive solidity and again criticised for his lack of attacking flair. Won the FA Cup, got sacked.
Also had Phil Jones taking corners.
But I'll always, the one thing no one can ever take away is that performance at Anfield, the one that was labelled Juanfield.
Yes,
that
was that day.
That was
a great day.
That was his highlight of Louis van Gaal. So no one can ever take that. Oh god, it's one place I've never sat actually in the cup.
I went with the Liverpool fan, and I so wanted to celebrate.
I know, I was like that. When I was there and we used to win, I had to swear just to get my frustration. Well, my excitement out, should I say?
Yeah.
So there was that. Okay, then we had Jose Mourinho come in. I know he's a favourite of yours and the others as well. So he come in 2016 to 2018. Won the Europa League, won the Carling Cup or whatever it was called, EFL Cup at that time. But again, clashes with the players and the board.
He was also back substantially as well.
Yeah, he was back.
Pogba, Zlatan, Mkhitaryan,
and Sanchez when he done the swap.
Oh yes, I forgot about Sanchez.
Yeah, the piano and all that business. So he kind of wanted the players that he wanted. Granted, he didn't always get rid of the players that he wanted because Joel liked some of them. Joel Glazer
spent big money on the Matic.
Matic, yeah. And then by Lindelof, so we can carry on. But then obviously that went downhill. And then we bring in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who's at the wheel, 2018 to 2021.
Me and Caleb did a video on this. That's coming out in the next few days.
Can't wait to see. So he kind of steadies
that discussion.
Yeah. Well, I was say he kind of steadies that ship. I don't think it was hard not to. After Jose Mourinho, I think it was at its lowest
I think
point.
all he did was he just gave the players a lot more freedom.
Yeah.
Jose is very regimented. If you're a winger, you are tracking back. You are helping your fullback. You are sitting in two banks of four when we need to. Whereas Ollie was, don't get me wrong, Ollie wasn't right for the job. Tactics were hit and miss. But when we played that fluid counter-attacking style, it suited our strengths. We had pace out wide, and we had a guy like Bruno who could pick the passes.
Yeah, what we played was counter-attacking. That's what it was. We soaked up the play and then attacked it. And there's no slight in that, but I expect that of a mid-tier table. Even bottom half kind of thing.
Yeah,
and I think it got to us.
Just come up. That's
it got to us. Got to us to a point, but let's not forget all those times. I think the thing that was labelled at Ollie that you needed a special moment from a player. There was no style of play in terms of there's no
Was it no tactics, individual brilliance? They used to call it.
brilliance. There's no patterns of play or any of that business. We remember that whole thing where he didn't lose a game away from home, which was fantastic. But again, if you remember, there was so many games where he took the brilliance of. I always remember, I think it was Pogba at West Ham away as well when he scored a screamer.
Pogba,
There was
Bruno.
Yeah, there's so many.
Rashford.
Yeah, there's so many individual performances that are needed. So this whole, revisionism of bring Ole back because he was the best out of all the other managers that we've mentioned, which we still to mention Ralph, is just crazy to me. And just moving on. So you had Ralph Ragnick in the interim. So somebody who
I
wasn't.
don't count Ralph because we knew he was an interim from the start. We knew it was never going to be permanent.
But the reason why I count him is because obviously he finished off the league just like Ryan Giggs did. So David Moyes actually didn't finish the league, whether just 2-3 games, whatever. But Ralph did, and we finished 6th. But I think it just goes back to the whole thing that Ralph was there to be the director of football. Obviously not on a permanent basis. He was there as a consultant. Asked to do a job he didn't want to do. He even said no, but then kind of twisted his arm, then does it, and then gets booted out for doing a job that he didn't want to do.
Yeah. And then towards the end, he was being honest about the club and
the open heart surgery and all that business.
We've seen this pattern before. Like in the video that's gonna come out with Aki, I said, literally, this season under Ten Hag is, to me, it's the final season under Jose. I see so many similarities.
I see so many I see the similarities in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's final season, that away game, the 4-1 loss at Watford.
Was that when Bruno was saying, "Don't blame Ole, or
the
blame
manager,
us"?
blame all this business, and this is what I mean. What's been labelled at Erik Ten Hag at the moment? He's lost the players. That's happened to every other manager that we've seen.
Yeah.
Even David Moyes. They don't believe in his tactics. He doesn't put
David
chips
Moyes
on there. He doesn't.
Well,
he doesn't like he's banned chips. Off the plate. So players have lost faith in him in that. So it's not a new thing. He's got no tactics. There's no patterns of play. As we just meant Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Again, similar things were labelled at Jose. The only person you couldn't label that at was Lou Van Gaal.
Yeah, Van Gaal had a set philosophy. You know what? I think if Jose wasn't available, maybe we would have carried on with Van Gaal.
I don't think so.
Because you could see he was building something.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think the lure of Jose Mourinho came in terms of Ed Woodward just thought this guy's a serial winner who wins everywhere he goes, almost guaranteed a league. And I think Pep had just come as well at that time. So he just thought, okay, he just come at that time as well to Man City. So he's kind of like, right, okay, Pep v Mourinho, Manchester United v Man City.
Yeah,
this guy's a serial winner.
Spain. He sent him to Germany.
Yeah, all that business.
Felt the pressure and had to take a sabbatical for whatever reason.
Yeah, and so I could see, if I remember rightly, and I can see and I understand why that happened. But by gosh, like I says, I didn't want Jose Mourinho at the time because I knew he brings toxicity to the club, which he ultimately did. But then I also now look back and then just say, you know what? None of these guys had a chance. Like I says, the same things about Erik Ten Hag. Like there was a stat I saw earlier. I think it was in November 2021 or something of that nature, where under Erik Ten Hag, Ajax has scored 500 goals in 185 games. So Ajax had scored 500 goals.
Yeah.
Under within 185 games. So that's roughly about 2-3 goals.
Three-ish, yeah.
Just under 3, but round it up, it's around about 3 a game. My man can't get 1 goal. Do you know what I mean? At the present moment in time.
But who's shooting? Because this is my issue, right? People are saying, look, I've got no issues. Just want to clear this up. Want to put this out there for everyone that thinks, oh, you're giving Ten Hag a free pass. I have no issues with you being Ten Hag out. Frankly, I don't care. People don't believe me when I say I don't care. I don't let 11 men dictate my mental state. Do you know what I mean? You should only control in life what you can control. That's the way I see it, right? And look, if you're Erik ten Hag out, cool, be that way. But at least have some reasoning behind it. Don't just be like, oh, he spent 600 million, oh, he's done. What manager hasn't spent money in the Premier League?
He's been backed, you know.
Look at how much money Pep spent. Like, he went through 2 different defenses in 3 windows.
Yeah, look, like I said, for me, again, I've got no affiliation to anybody. The only thing I'm affiliated to is to Manchester United, my club. So when players go, I don't really, look at their results and think, oh, he was this, he was that. Like, do you know what I mean? I just think, okay,
Wish him
thank you
well
for
and
your
see
time.
you.
Yeah, I wish you well. There's a time and a period. Whatever's happening at Manchester United, that's all I care about. I've always said it. I don't really care what players do in their personal lives. I don't care what happens. All I care about is what's happening in the club, the results that we're getting, how we are as a club, all that. So whether it's Jose Mourinho, whether it's Erik ten Hag, whether it's even bloody, Gareth Southgate to come in and win us league titles. I know you boys discussed that in one of the on-road pods there. I don't care. So this whole thing that people think, oh, I'm trying to back up Erik ten Hag, he can do nothing wrong. Clearly, he does things wrong. He even admitted it in the 20 game after the 20 game, where he said, I have to look in the mirror, which is correct. But my gripe is it's been happening every year, or should I say, every time a new manager comes in. Which, and this is the bit I struggle with. Which part do not people understand? When people saying Erik ten Hag, and this is always happens, but it's not the Glazers who put their team out to play that game. They weren't choosing the tactics there.
But it's
But
not the manager who hit the crossbar.
So they'll blame. So these people will blame the manager for picking the players. They'll blame the manager for the training and all that. So he's in charge of the football. Excuse me. Okay. So they'll blame a manager for that, and it's his responsibility, but not the Glazers. But the people who are in charge of the whole club to bring in the correct manager, to bring in the correct players, to bring in the correct coaches, to bring in the correct CEO, and all that
to
business,
provide the correct facilities.
To bring it all together, they get a free pass.
Yeah. Now, I did think, so when INEOS came in, right, was it February they got confirmed?
Yeah.
So that, to me, that February to June stretch, that was a free pass because nobody knows what the hell, like, you wouldn't have, well, they didn't have a transfer window. There was no, they couldn't affect anything that wasn't already in motion, right? Like, we'd already had discussions with Barada. Barada was already coming in.
Well, that's INEOS. That's not the Glazers, obviously.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, regardless of, but what can Barada do at that point in time, in March, April, May, to affect the team? He can't do anything, right? So that to me was a free pass.
I don't know. Obviously, he's okay. Go on. Yeah.
And then obviously you win the FA Cup. I've said it 1,000 times. They changed their mind because he won the FA Cup. That's what I believe. Or we were skint, which we know we're skint. But then you get these players in who are apparently his players. According to the vast majority of Twitter, he's managed or played with or played against over a third of the squad now that he's got. So he knows these players very well. So you could say he's got his players, and certain players have made debuts under him or whatever. But then why, as INEOS, do you back that while still searching for replacements?
Yeah, look, like you said, it obviously widely reported that INEOS, were looking at other managers. For whatever reason, they couldn't find it. Obviously, we know Tuchel rejected them.
De Zerbi, apparently.
Obviously, there is the likes of De Zerbi.
Yeah, McKenna was one.
McKenna, Gareth Southgate was put out because he was the Euro, so they wanted somebody in. But okay, forget Southgate. But I think we all know 110% that Tuchel was one because Erik ten Hag even kind of talked about it. I think when he was at the Euros doing some TV for the Dutchess. Okay, so. And we know because after the FA Cup, it took 2 weeks for them to confirm. No, he's our manager, and they're extending the contract. Okay.
And in that time, you had all the fans writing flipping love letters. Oh dear, INEOS, this will be the worst decision you ever make at this club. I'm not afraid to say it. It was their biggest decision to make, and they bottled it.
Yeah, 100%.
They had a look, the first season was brilliant. Yeah. Second season, not
and
so
the
much.
Erik ten Hag, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second season, not so much. You got a trophy as well. That's fine. But if you look back at the history of Man United post Fergie, this always happens. You get 2 good years, and then the third season, like the second season, starts to go a bit downhill, and then the third season it capitulates.
If you get that far, because there are a lot of
Plus,
them.
You're a new establishment, you're a new regime. This is a new era. Stamp your authority. I don't care if you bring in Gareth Southgate. Just bring in your own man, because clearly they didn't want him.
Yeah, because look, you said okay. Erik ten Hag has brought his own players in, even this summer. Okay, majority of them are his signings apparently. But if you're not 100% sure about the manager, but then you back him, bring in all the players that he wanted, and now within 2 months you look like you're going to sack him. I mean, where's the logic in that?
I saw this on a tweet, and I can't remember who it was, and they were ripped into INEOS for that. It was like, it doesn't make business sense. It's a stupid decision or something. Which, I mean, what did we spend in the window?
200 million, I think it was. Something stupid like that.
Okay, papers will probably round it up and call it 200 anyway. So let's say we spent 200 million, right?
Well, we spent like 50 on Euro. We spent 30 plus 34 on Xerxes. I think
around 50 on Agate.
Yeah, around
40 or something.
Yeah, 40. Then the combined fee for De Ligt and Mazraoui was around about 60.
Yeah, 200-ish.
200, yeah.
In that ballpark. So you've just spent 200 million, right? You've bought in all these players. You've got rid of a lot of players. From what we can tell just on the face of it, you've ripped off wages because one of the biggest earners of the squad is now gone in Jadon Sancho. But then you also had the likes of Martial, Varane, all them lot leave as well. So in a way, you've started a rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the first piece of the rebuild, not the manager.
He's got to be the most important piece, right? Because
he's got to be the first piece, and then everything else.
Yeah, because that's why Jason Wilcox come in. Like whatever you say about Omar Barada, on gardening leave, man can talk. He has obviously a phone. He has computers, laptops, and things like that. Yeah, exactly. Which happened again. Dan Ashworth was not working for Newcastle because of all this. So he wasn't sitting there twiddling his thumbs. Again, he can go out. He can speak to people. So things were happening obviously behind the scenes. So this notion of they weren't in the club, they knew what was happening. Okay, because don't forget, I think INEOS are masters of going into an organization, looking at things, seeing where things need to be done, and they apply all that because so they looked at all the books, they looked at what was that happening when the whole buyout process was happening. So all that debrief would have been happening to Barada, to Ashworth, to Wilcox, and all that. So all that would have happened. Okay, so everybody would have known what's happening where. So Wilcox also his remit is to build a philosophy of play for Manchester United, and obviously he's been here since April, I think it was April, I think it was around that time.
Yeah, I think he was one of the first ones through the door.
One of the first ones. So he would have sat there with Erik ten Hag, said, right, this is the way we want to play. This is what we want to do. How are we going to do? What we're going to do? Okay, so they again, like I said, in the summer they chose to keep Erik ten Hag, extend his contract. INEOS did.
Question. So, you said Jason Wilcox's remit is determining the style of play.
A part of it, yeah.
So, do we then shoulder part of the blame on him?
Why not?
We should, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're gonna hold everyone to the same standards and treat everyone equally, he should shoulder the blame because that's within his job spec.
Yeah, he's obviously chose a manager, with the rest of the crew, to say, right, this is how we're gonna play. This is the manager who's gonna obviously fulfill that for us. We're gonna give you an extension, and these are the players we're gonna do that. Because if they're not doing that, then what the hell are they doing there? Okay, like I said, they had the chance, INEOS, to get rid of Erik Ten Hag. It would have cost him around about 10 million apparently, but now with that contract extension, now it's going to cost him 17.5 million to get rid of him now within these next 2 games. That's what apparently they've given him: Porto away, Villa away. We're not winning any of those.
Okay, my question here is this 3-game thing, this 3-game to save your this 3-game trial, let's call it. Why?
Because they need to be
Game 1
seen
has
to be.
elapsed.
Yeah,
Game 1's done.
Spurs, yeah.
That was a humiliation on all fronts, whatever way you look at it. The captain lost his head, got sent off. We got players injured. No one was at the races for that game. Was it? Oh, what's the centre back? Van de Ven went from pretty much the 18-yard box of Spurs into our box completely unfazed, unchallenged. That should have told you how that game was going to go, right? So, right now, if you're INEOS, grow a backbone, grow some balls in a way, and just pull the trigger. I'd actually rate them if they did, because it show they're ruthless.
Yeah, because like again, the whole reports have come out today. We're backing him, but he's got the next 2 games to change it around. Mate, he's not gonna fucking change jack shit around in 2 games, is he? Okay.
Right,
what kind of confidence is that?
Porto, we're away, yeah.
Wait, no, next 2 games we're away.
So we're away at Porto, we're away at Villa Park.
Villa Park, yeah.
I could see us winning at Porto.
I could see us winning yesterday. That's the game we normally win.
Yeah,
normally,
true,
even under Erik Ten Hag, or even Ole, I always remember as well, where Ronaldo scored that mad goal from.
Was it Ralph who played the park?
Oh, I'm sure it was Ole. But anyway, when our managers
was it Ten Hag that played him off the park, and then Ronaldo went down the tunnel?
Ten Hag his first season at Old Trafford. But what I'm trying to say, when the backs are against it and a manager needs a performance, it's somehow we always end up playing against Spurs, and we do well, and a bit of a momentum is created. But that just didn't happen yesterday. Again, you can see the all the telltale signs here that he's leaving. He's lost the dressing room. Rare. Again, people were sharing with me today. I think even in our Munde group as well, whereby Scholes spoke about Erik Ten Hag and how he's not this, how he's not that, and he's lost it. And then I sent the same things, basically word for word, what Paul Scholes said about Jose, about Ole, about Louis van Gaal. I don't think he was even talking when it was Moyes. He'd only just recently retired. He was saying the same things, literally almost word for word, about those managers that we're now saying about Erik Ten Hag now. I don't get it. Do you know what I mean? And but I'm so people still want to just now blame Erik Ten Hag. He spent 600 million and move on to the next manager. Where, but everything else we can just see prior to that, it just doesn't work.
The funniest thing about this all is me and you get called ignorant. But if anything, by not just looking at the manager, looking at the players, looking at the ownership, looking at, I got told I wasn't seeing the bigger picture. The bigger picture is the ownership, you tool. Like, Erik Ten Hag's not bigger than the badge.
No, look, we just
the
said
badge is the bigger picture.
Yeah, we don't care who wins. I mean, who that individual is. So, look, if Gareth Southgate comes in, which I think he's going to be, if any one of those managers, I label him the shit one. I think he's the one who will probably end up making us win titles. You can just imagine it now. Generally, he comes in and does that. But I'm just moving it on slightly as well.
He's going to win us a treble. What you on about?
Yeah.
We're winning the treble, bro.
this year, even though we're not in the Champions League, we'll win the Champions League as well.
Europa League. We'll make a new treble when Man
No,
United.
no. We'll win the Champions League. Watch, even this year, even though we're
Yeah.
not in it. But again, James Redknapp said it yesterday, and Gary Neville said it before as well. Manchester United. Well, no, yeah, but the thing is, like he said, it's a graveyard for talent.
Not even just talent anymore. It's for managers, for coaches.
No. This is when I'm saying talent. I mean just across.
Okay, you talking? Okay,
across
right, yeah.
just the whole thing. You know, let's start with players. You know, Angel Di Maria, world class at Real Madrid, comes in, shocking.
Champions League man of the match in the final.
Champions League winner, shocking. Goes to PSG, does decent. You know, wins the league.
Falcao, elite striker.
Just shocking. Look, Romelu Lukaku, I don't rate him, but he was pulling up the trees. We spent up what I think 70, 80 million, just shy of what we paid the world record for Pogba.
Yeah, it was underneath the Pogba fee.
Yeah, he comes in. He was shocking. Obviously, I
liked him.
No, I liked him, but he wasn't. He didn't pull up any trees.
Yeah, he was a 1-2 striker, which is like your average striker nowadays.
Yeah, no, but again, he was good for the first season, I think. But then again, you know, he tailed off. Poor Pogba, you know, a record signing for us, 90 million it was. I mean, just smashing it at Juve, comes in, does jack shit.
And we get told, we need to sign a player to unlock Pogba. We need to unlock Pogba. Why do we need to unlock him? He's already here. It's not like we're playing a game and we can't get access to him.
Yeah, like I said, these aren't just players. Managers like Mourinho that I mentioned, serial winner, won everywhere. Obviously, from Porto, I think there was a small club just before that, Victoria or whatever it's called. He didn't win the title there, but from Porto onwards, Porto, Chelsea, Porto, Chelsea, Real Madrid. Or was it the other way? Then Inter then Real Madrid,
because he won the Champions League in the Bernabeu.
Yeah, and then he comes back to Chelsea, wins the league there as well. Even when he comes back, he then talks about his best career highlight is finishing second with Manchester United. Okay,
with that squad, yeah.
Yep, Louis van Gaal, obviously done really well on the international level. Kind of helped put the a
well-respected coach.
Thing. Yeah. You know, again, you could see what he brought because he just brought stability. He brought a way of playing for us as well. People can just never go to the next level. You know, he then berates the board and things like that, saying, you know, I thought I was going to Manchester United. This and that was promised to me, but it never happened. Do you know what I mean? I think one of his coaches are now one of the coaches at with Arsenal, Arteta. I always forget his name. So he's doing half decent. We're talking about coaches. We talked about Kieran McKenna was getting done. Michael Carrick was being abused. You know that they're rubbish. That they're
the one thing about Kieran McKenna, right? When he was with Ollie, same goes for Carrick. The coaching staff shit. The coaching staff's this. You've done this. Oh, we've got no experience. We've got no in-game management. They both go off. Carrick enjoys a good season with Middlesbrough. McKenna gets back-to-back promotions into the Premier League. All of a sudden, football season, everyone flips. They flip to the other side. Oh, bring McKenna, do this, McKenna that. Look at what he's doing in the Premier League. If he's getting them results with Ipswich, he's going to get, I'll tell you now, he'll get worse results with Man United because Ipswich play on the front foot.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah, but we've even brought a manager in, like Erik ten Hag, as I said. He was this, not in age-wise, but he was this up-and-coming manager. He'd obviously worked under Pep. He'd done it for Ajax. Even after Ajax hadn't won for so many years, he comes and dominates that league again. In Europe, he's playing this expansive football. You know, he's doing all... Comes here, he looks like a guy who's never managed. But again, that's not just to him. That's to all the other managers as well. Do you know what I mean? But just finishing.
Keep talking. I've got to get the door. 1 sec.
Cheers for that, man. But you know,
I
think just obviously letting people know as well. I think you've got even someone like Jim Ratcliffe who then talks about, you know, the environment not being there set up as well for the managers and the coaches. obviously I'm just going to let Afsal just whack
Yo.
his headphones in. Yeah, I was just saying, I didn't get very far because he was quite quick. But I was going to say, Sir Jim Ratcliffe then also talks about, who is the co-owner, how Erik ten Hag isn't a bad coach, nor were a lot of the other ones before him, but the environment's just not set up. And that was, I think those comments were in June.
But what have they done to change that environment?
They've got rid of 250 staff, which by all reports that you read and you hear, it's
Cost a
left
bit
a
of
very,
money.
yeah, but it's, they might have saved a little bit of money as well, but it's left a very negative effect in the background. Yeah, you read and you look at the way they kind of put the ladies team into porter cabins, and they've shift them off to St
They're near
George.
you now.
Yeah. St George, what you call it?
Go down, see
Burton.
him.
I'll try. Down Burton. So they've made them, second class citizens as almost. I don't know, man. Like I says, I've got no faith in INEOS because, like I says, I've not seen a sporting project of theirs that's worked. So this whole faith that people got in INEOS to do something, apparently they've learned from their mistakes from the other clubs, and they weren't going to repeat those same mistakes here. But you can
That
clearly
makes me
see,
laugh.
you can clearly see what's happening there. But I am going to come back onto this just before we kind of finished, because like I says, I just don't believe that their investment in OG Nice, Lausanne, or anything like that is anywhere good enough, and the people that they've brought in to bring us back to the top or put Manchester into Manchester United. Please, anybody who knows what that actually means, please drop us a comment.
Do you think he
And
wants to go
please
to
tell us.
Wilmslow Road? Is that what it
Mate,
is?
I know you and Aki will be available to show them some of the best food places there, man.
Come down, Jim.
The Munde, man. We can
We'll
do an
foot the bill as
episode
well.
that. Yeah, we'll foot the bill as well. You know what I mean? But the one thing I did like from our CEO Omar Barada is this thing that it said. Well, from all what I read about now, and I just thought it was a little bit different. I thought he'd said that the target is to win the league by 2028. There's it, but from what I hear and what I read from Laurie Whitwell's, I think it was more just that's an aim to get there, not a concrete thing. So I'm going to take it as it's a goal. By 2028, we need to win the league, and I think that's positive because it shows exactly what we're going to do. So it's none of this, oh, we should be competing. We've got to win the league. It gives us a clear date, 2028, because that coincides with 150 years of Manchester United. It gives us the whole reason of bringing Barada in. He's coming from a winning machine, which is Manchester City. He's never done the CEO job, so I'm gonna hope he can do something. Okay, so he can step up and deliver on that. But he's meant to have his men, such as Ashworth and Wilcox, to deliver that. But obviously, to me, I struggle with that because they've never been part of a successful title-winning team. Okay,
What did
Wilcox.
Wilcox do
I
at
don't.
Man City? Was
I
he
think it's
was in the
something to do with
academy,
more of
wasn't
the
he?
youth. Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? I don't think it was anything to do with the first team, whereby basically he wasn't in the role that he's in now. Where
Yeah.
I know he does that role in Southampton. You may say he's contributed
They
to their
got
promotion.
relegated.
They
And
got
then,
relegated in their promotion, so I don't know. So he might fit in at Lausanne's. They seem to do that. Get relegated, get promoted. But anyway, thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on Barada coming out with that?
All right, I can see the positives. I agree that okay, he's given a defined time scale, because I read it as, so the way I read it was we want to win it in 2028. So I was like, all right, cool. We've got a goal. We've got a path to that goal. We've got a way forward, right? But then I was like, hang on a minute. And this is where the arrogance of being a Man United fan kicked in. I was like, why 2028? We've got a manager, whether you like Ten Hag or not, 2 seasons, European football, 2 cups. we should be building, we should be investing, keyword, investing, because you're not going to get to that title without any investment. So we should be doing that. And if we do that the right way, if we get rid of the right players and bring the right players in, who's to say we can't upset the apple cart next year?
I do.
No, but you get what I'm saying. Don't like it could. There can be a freak season where it all comes together. But again, I see the virtues in 2028 is the goal. I'm just thinking we've won cups in the last 2 seasons. 2028 seems like we're slowing down a bit. Like, no, full throttle, pumping the money, whatever money we can pump in, and just go get it.
Yeah.
Get rich or die trying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, the thing is that, yeah, like I said, just going back. I mean,
but again, that could be my arrogance as a Man United fan and being spoiled from the Fergie years. I don't know.
And like I said, we were Manchester United, and we almost like it's almost like we should be doing things that nobody else has to do. I mean, like I says, if I go through the Glazers' tenure, it's a constant cycle of managers and staff. We're no closer. Since like I said, 2013, United have spent around about 1.6 billion pounds on transfers. Bought brought in several directors of football. 2 or 3. I think
3,
Woodward was
4, Woodward, Murtaugh,
Woodward was doing it. Murtaugh.
Arnold. Oh, no, Arnold was CEO.
No, Arnold's CEO. Obviously, you got Jason Wilcox. I think there's probably somebody else in between as well. Who weren't doing the role, but they were like almost like de factos. But okay, they're bringing different people in. Even Nicky Butt said all these people had like L plates on them. So that's one thing. But in that same time, Manchester City spent roughly 1.8 billion. They've won multiple Premier Leagues, obviously even the Champions League.
They've had multiple managers.
They've had multiple managers.
But they've always had an identity and a philosophy.
Yeah. So I mean, if you look at it, so if I start with Man City, the Sheikh Mansour era, right? They were taken in 2008. Okay, obviously under Gary Cook, they were spending a lot of money, but they weren't doing much. Okay, and then I think they won it in 2012, obviously when they pipped us the Aguero goal,
yeah.
Mancini. Okay, and then what happens is they see, right, okay, well, it's taking a lot of money. We're not quite 100% getting to where we want to get to, the way we want to do it. So what we're going to go and do, we're going to go out and go and get the best that there is out there that does this. Soriano and Chicky Bergstein. Okay, 2012, yeah. So Soriano's CEO, Bergstein is director
and
of
they
football.
bought Pellegrini, right?
They bought in Pellegrini. They win under Pellegrini. They bring all these players in, which you could see that you could from the outset straight away you could see what they were trying to do. They were looking to bring in Pep for a long time. Okay, but you could just see the players that they were buying. You could just see, yes, they're Pep players. The way they were trying to play
De
was a
Bruyne,
Pep style.
Stones, Otamendi, obviously already having company there. They had Silva. They had
Aguero, obviously.
Did Pep buy Morris? Who bought Morris?
Pep bought him, I think. Well, it kind of coincided, didn't it? Because
Pep got bought the year Leicester won the league.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So that was when Mahrez went to Man City, and that was 2016.
Yeah, could see. Yeah,
Sure
Pep got him.
Yeah. But like I said, the nucleus, even David Silva, what a great player he was for him as well. The nucleus was already there. So you could see, obviously we won the title by 12 points, as we said in 2013, but after that you can just see, where they went and what they went on to achieve. But then I also go to Chelsea. Roman Abramovich buys them in 2003. What does he do? He goes and gets the best CEO around.
Peter
And who were
Kenyon.
at the top of that time? We were Manchester United.
Yeah.
He goes and gets Peter Kenyon. You know what I mean? He goes and gets a guy who's done it for a club, who's, so it's none of this L plate stuff from moving from
He
one
got
role
the
to
best
another.
of the best from the best of the best.
Yep. Okay, so he goes and does that. You know what I mean? And what I think, like I said, kind of immediate success. The 400 million spent in these first 5 years. Chelsea win the Premier League in 2004 and 2005 and 2006 by bringing Jose Mourinho in.
Had that unbeaten home run under Jose for nearly 2.5 years.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
season where they conceded 13 goals in the entire Premier League.
yeah. So even between 2003 and 2022. He got the likes of Drogba, Lampard, Petr Cech, all these other players. Chelsea won 5 Premier League titles, 5 FA Cups, and 2 Champions Leagues. Again, with variety of different
And the
managers.
Europa League, maybe?
Maybe
Because
Super Cup as well.
I'm
Maybe
sure Rafa won the Europa League.
I'm not too sure. But yeah, you got the likes of Tuchel, or what's his name? Oh, the other Italian.
Conte,
No, not Conte.
Ancelotti.
No, the one who won the Champions League.
Oh,
Di Matteo. Di
yeah,
Matteo.
yes, Di Matteo.
Yeah, Di Matteo. So they win the Champions League. You've obviously got the Jose, Ancelotti. All these other people. You've just mentioned him there as well. The guy who's gone to Napoli now, Conte. They win the league there. So what it kind of shows is that yes, you need managers. Okay, and sometimes managers outgrow their stay. But what have those
At
clubs
Chelsea,
done?
though, did they outgrow their stay, or was it Abramovich saw the slump coming, he saw the turn of form, and he got rid?
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say, the Glazers have done that as well. They've seen the slump. They're doing kind of
Yeah, but they waited until it was mathematically impossible to qualify for the Champions League, right?
That's correct. But what I'm trying to say is, how are people seriously trying to say we've just been unlucky with the managers that we've been getting, even after we've spent, like I said, 1.6 billion? Okay, or is there actually a method to this madness? Why are clubs like Man City able to win a league with 3 different managers? Got those owners, but they were able to select 3 managers. And why are Chelsea under Roman Abramovich? Why were they able to select so many different managers and still continue to win?
And still winning every kind of trophy there was.
Like, are people seriously trying to tell me that it's just luck, or is there an actual method to this where they thought, right, actually, you know what? This is what we need in place, the best of the best. Like I said, the CEOs, the director of footballs. We need we've got a proper transfer set up and this, that, the other, and they go and do that. And which is just another one as well, the Fenway Group, Liverpool. They were doing shit under Hicks and Gillette. They took over in 2010. Okay, obviously it took them a bit of time,
Yeah,
but what did they do? They went with this, right? Okay, they're going to go with this team focused on data-driven analytics.
Yeah, like a data-driven sort of approach.
Yeah. So they went with all the data kind of thing. A bit like what Brighton, I don't know whether it was roughly the same time or just after. I can't remember when Brighton were bought out, but they went with the same philosophy as well. So they were giving, you could see obviously the improvement in them as well. Brendan Rodgers, I think that one year when they were close to us, lose it. But then what do they go and do? They go and get Klopp. Do you know what I mean? And you can then, the rest is history, as to say.
And they then
Okay.
backed Klopp.
Yeah.
Fair enough, Klopp had disagreements with Edwards over certain players, but
but what Fenway
worked.
Group had there, where they had a clear philosophy of what they wanted to do, how they wanted to do it, their data-driven philosophy, and they backed the manager, but they also says no because it doesn't suit our philosophy as a club. Do you know what I mean? So they've done that as well. And we could keep talking about the Saudis at Newcastle. You got that great quote by
That's going to be that's a talking point now because obviously Darren Eales sadly taken ill.
Unfortunately,
is it cancer he's got? I think I read.
I think it's in the blood cells or something like that.
Yeah,
in his blood, something like that.
So
Which is
unfortunately, he'll
unfortunate.
be stepping down. which means they'll now be hiring for a new CEO, unless Yasser steps in, but I doubt it, because obviously they want to keep the Saudi like state funding
Influence
side
in
of
it.
it hush.
Yeah. But again,
it'd be interesting to see who they get as their CEO. They've got all the money in the world. They've got all the ambition in the world as well.
But what they've done is, again, we all knew right from the outset what they were going to do. They said, right, we're not going to just keep throwing money at it. They're going to do it in a certain way, and they've built upon that. But again, what happened was, what's his name? The midfielder who plays for them. His brother used to play for them. He always seemed to score against us.
Oh, the Longstaff brothers.
Longstaff. I think is it Sean Longstaff. I think it is.
Yeah,
remember that interview?
Sean's still there. I don't know if the other one is.
Yeah, no, I think Sean. The interview that he done in the Champions League when they had that great win against PSG, was it?
Yeah.
And they were just talking about what it was, and he was like, you know what? When the takeover happened, it just lifted us all. Do you know what I mean? But you can see now. Look at the way they played against Man City on the weekend. They were only lucky not to win that game.
You know what? On paper, who's got a better squad? Us or them? Newcastle.
I don't like this comparison.
No, just give it me on paper.
I don't know, because I'm going to be
look at
biased.
our names, you look at their names, and you think, you know what?
It's going to be us. It's going
to be us.
Yeah,
but then this is where all the external factors, like the environment at the club, morale, training, all of this comes into effect. Like, if we play, no disrespect to Dan Burn, but if we play a team with the likes of Dan Burn and Fabian Schär in the back line, we should be rinsing them. Yet Dan Burn and Fabian Schär are mainstays in that side.
But don't forget, a lot of those players were there when they were getting relegated or near relegation.
Yeah.
Although I think
Fabian
they might have been relegated.
twice.
Yeah, exactly. They're there. And he looks like a different player now. Do you know what I mean? And you can't overlook, obviously, what the new management, what the new structures coming. And we're not talking about this bullshit, like in the Glazers and the INEOS working together. You know, we see that Arsenal as well, when you had their Russian billionaire and you had Kroenke,
and Shiri, and God knows who else was involved.
All involved, and they weren't doing nothing. What happened to them? They're like, don't forget, Emery was there. Emery was also there.
Yeah,
he did nothing.
Awful.
Yeah, he was awful. You know, I mean, good evening. People keep taking the mick out of him. So what happened? They got rid of all these other different factors and thought, right, just the one person, Stan Kroenke, and he says to his son, Josh, this is you, this is yours, go and sort it out. And lo and behold, he goes and gets his man, which is Arteta. Obviously, they had to go through a lot of this teething period, like, do you know what I mean? But okay, they're not won anything, but okay, they won the FA Cup. But you can see the progress again. And just the final one I just want to talk about as well is Aston Villa. You know, the billionaire, Nassif Sawiri, and you know the other Edens. Okay, those two have come in, but you know they've obviously come as a combined together, but they're on the same page. There's none of this half a stake here, half a stake there.
There's none of this. Oh, you control this, I control that.
You know, there could be, but they've come in together, you know, and working together on that as well. So they appointed Steven Gerrard, and then they had another director of football. It just didn't work out for them. So what do? They get rid of him, and they bring the guy from Sevilla, Monchi.
How the hell they got? To this day, I'm still surprised.
Yeah, but before they got Monchi, they went and got Emery. So they thought, right, do you know what I mean? Then they got
Emery's success come from at Sevilla? Monchi.
Yeah, look, he was half decent at PSG. Obviously, we know PSG, it's hard to work from there. But yeah, you know, you can see. So again, it comes back down to why are managers at other clubs working for them, but not for us?
It's a graveyard.
I don't know, man. Yeah, like I said, and I think just finishing on that, Afsar, and I was asked this this morning as well. You know, what's my solution to this? I think we all know what the solution is. I don't get why fans are scared. Why they're shit scared of saying no, Glazer out. They've obviously, personally, think they've been hoodwinked with this INEOS thing. It's bullshit. Like I said, I don't know how much of it is again, it was never the state that were going to buy Manchester United. It could have been influenced by the state, but it was going to be Sheikh Jassim. Proof of funds.
But even then, even if the state did buy us, who gives a toss?
No, you got people out there.
We'd have got a new stadium.
Yeah, and again, I'll go back to and because people will say, "Oh wow, who's Sheikh Jassim?" Or, mate, it could have been another billionaire who's half.
Could have been Elon.
Manchester United. It could have been Elon. Like, do you know what I mean? But what we know, even if you compare the statements, it was going to be debt free. Manchester United were, so we could actually focus our money on channeling into the club. None of this bullshit of paying off the credit bill, still being in debt for 500-600 million. Obviously having to do.
And now we need to look for investors to finance this new stadium.
All that bullshit. Okay. What we know is again, I'm just going to go off the other Middle Eastern clubs that have happened in the Premier League as well, like the Newcastle and Man City. They'll go and get like. I'll say they want to go and get the best in class. Okay. I think more than anything, obviously Newcastle went and got Ashworth, and I don't think they're very disappointed. They don't really give a shit by the looks of it. They've carried on.
I think Newcastle got the best in class for their level of where they were at.
So
but in a sense, they've done that step. They're on to the next step now.
But what I'm trying to say is, more than anything else, the whole environment was just a fresh new start. No glazers around and all this fucking penny pinching and getting rid of 250 staff. I don't know how much would have happened or what would have happened in that respect, but at least it would have been just rid of them fuckers. Do you know what I mean? There's the 6 siblings. We've been told time in time out that they're not even on the same page. They're in it for different reasons.
They're not even on the same. This is what gets me. They're not even on the same page. But yet, when it comes down to a board vote, they all vote together. It's so weird. You can take the piss out of me, but if someone else takes the piss out of me, you're like, no, you can't do that. Do you know what I mean?
But they've taken money out, never put money in. The stadium has not had a penny cent on it, and no, a brand new stadium doesn't mean we're gonna win the league. The brand new training facilities doesn't mean we're gonna win the league. Again, if people are finding it difficult to understand, go and use the analogy or the comparison when Toto Wolff went to Mercedes AMG. He walked in the first day into the front of the opening the front office, saw there an out-of-date newspaper, coffee mugs left everywhere, and he just said, "This isn't the mindset of a winning team." Do you know what I mean? So, like I said, all I ask for is a mindset of a winning team, new owners who are going to do that, and neither INEOS are going to do that because they've proven not to do that, and nor Glazers again because they've proven they just won't do that either. But I think I don't know whether there's anything more need to be said there, Afsal, before we wrap up.
No, if we are going to wrap up, I just want to say once again, thank you so much to everyone over the last year and a bit. I've lost track of how long it's been,
Just over a year now, yeah.
Yeah, just over
July
a year.
2023, yeah.
Yeah, 10,000 subscribers. But look, this is just the beginning.
100%, man.
And we can only do it with your guys' love, support, hate, whatever you want to give us, send it. But look, like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends. And just a final thing, go back, watch the Walk 48 with Manny Singh. And if you don't have to, but if you can afford to, please donate. Because, 100%. Do you know what I mean? It's for a good cause. And every little helps, I suppose.
100%. Echo everything that Afsal said. So I think on that note, thank you for listening, everybody, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
The guy that turns up on your party.